Hello everyone and welcome to the next session of Core Java. In this session, we will be discussing about setter and getter methods and this key. First, let's understand what are setter and getter methods. Let's have a look at definition. So the method that is used to set or modify the value of a private instance variable of a class is known as a setter method. And the method that is used to retrieve the value of a private instance variable is known as a getter method. In short, setter method is to set or initialize or modify the value of a variable, and get is to retrieve the value of the variable. These methods are also termed as accessor and mutator, where setter method is termed as mutator because modification is done through setter method, and getter method is termed as accessor. It gives you the access to fetch the value for that particular variable. Now let's understand what is the need of setter and getter method. We have already discussed about encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Putting things together. What we are going to do in encapsulation is we are going to create a class. A class going to have variables and its associated functions. Whenever we are creating a class and we are declaring variables, definitely we will be able to create object of that class and will be able to access those data members through object of that particular class. Let's see it through the implementation. So here I am creating a class, say student class I am creating over here, and I am declaring two variables, int roll number and string name. Now I will create another class in which I will create object of this student class. So I am creating student main. This student main will have main method, and I am creating a class object as student equal to new student. We have already discussed about the syntax of creating object, right? So object name dot variable name equal to some value. This is what we are going to do whenever we need to access these data methods. How I will print these values? Again through object. So student dot roll number and student dot name, right? So this program will give me expected output, no doubt about it. I will get roll number and name printed on the console. The program is developed, the program is working fine. However, this program, this application is not as per the standards of encapsulation. What are the standards of encapsulation? Why we need encapsulation? Obviously for data hiding. What I need is whatever variables I want in a particular class, they must not be accessible outside the class directly to the object. So here we are breaking the rule of encapsulation. So what is the rule of encapsulation? Data hiding. is declare these data members as private data members. Once we declare these data members as private, you will be able to see that there is compilation error occurred in the main method where I have accessed these particular variables. This is what we want. Through declaring these data members, specifying the access modifier as private, we are restricting the access, especially the direct access to these data members from outside the class. And this is what is expected. So how I will be able to access these data members? Because whenever I have declared data members, that means storing information in that data member is a must. Otherwise, there is no point in declaring these data members. However, as accessing these data members only within that particular class will also not be a standard solution. So for that, what we can have is we can have setters and getters specified for these data members. So one setter per variable, one getter per variable. This is what we are going to have over here. So this is what we have over here. There are two classes, class A and class B. Class A is having certain variable. Class B wants to utilize that variable. However, class B will never be able to access that data member directly. It will have to follow certain standard, that is nothing but using setter and getter method. So if class B wants to set a value for number variable of class A, it will make use of set a number method. And if it wants to access that method, retrieve that method, it will make use of get number method. Now, what will be the syntax or what will be the naming convention utilized for defining these setters and getters? So, whenever there is a setter method, it will always start with set, and whenever there is getter method, it will always start with get. Now remember that these are not keywords. This is the coding convention, and XXX over here specifies the name of the variable where we will be following the coding convention, camel kissing. So here is one example, a variable name which is of type string and declared as private. Setter and getter method will be there. Setter to set the value and getter to retrieve the value. So let's now see how we can add setters and getters for these variables. So first of all, these data members will be kept private. However, the methods which will work on these data members will be kept public. Public is again access modifier, which allows the scope, which will be increased scope, widened scope. So public. Setter method is not going to return anything because the task given to it is set the value, right? So when it is going to set the value, what it is going to return? Nothing. So the return type of setter method will always be void. It will start with set. Again, to mention over here, set is not a keyword. It is coding convention. Roll number, you can see over here that what coding convention is followed. Type of that particular variable, and this is some variable which I'm passing. Then roll number equal to this. So I'm assigning value into the variable of my class. Then getter method. So public. Now this get roll number is going to get the roll number back. So it is going to return some value. So as it is going to return roll number and type of roll number is int, the return type of get will be int only. Get roll number. It will not accept any parameter and it will simply return the roll. That's it. So this is how this setter and getter will be specified for one variable. Now how I'm going to access it? Student dot set roll number and the value, whatever value I want. Right now we have not specified name, setter and getter method for name. So I'm commenting it. This is how we comment code in Java. Single line comment by double slash. And here I'm going to retrieve that roll number through get roll number method call. Any method which is returning some value can directly be called from within system.out.println. Save the code, execute it, and you can see that the roll number value is printed over here. Now, there is a facility in Eclipse how these setters and getters can be created. So, right click, source, generate getters and setters. Now, right now I have created setter and getter for roll number. So it is giving me option only for name. No. So it will create setter and getter for this. Now here you can see this keyword. We are going to discuss about this keyword in detail. Right now we are focusing on setter and getter. How we will call this now? Student dot set name. This is some value and student dot get name. So whenever I'm executing this code, now these both the values will be displayed. Creating one more object, student2 equal to new student, then student2 dot set roll number, say as 2, student2 dot set name, some value I'm specifying over here, and system.out.println student2. Again, I'm calling these getter methods inside system.out.println. So these will print the values for both the objects. So every object will have access to setter and getter. These are some examples of how setters and getters can be specified. So you can use it for instance data members, also the reference data members, and also there is a coding convention which will be followed. So you can see that int is specified as int quantity, int get quantity, and void set quantity. Date birthday, so get birthday and set birthday. Date is a predefined class in Java. Now, when it comes about Boolean value, right? So in case of Boolean, we are going to ask a question like, is a user valid? Is the color red? And you are going to get output as yes or no. So for getter method, you can have a question, is rich, get rich. So these are the two ways how Boolean getter method can be implemented. In further applications, obviously, we are going to make use of setter and getter methods. So the usage of setters and getters is very frequent in Java applications. Next, we are going to discuss about this keyword. So this is a keyword. It is a reference variable which refers to the current object. Whenever we are creating any object, to identify or to locate that current object, we can make use of this keyword. Now, let's understand how a class can be designed without using this keyword, right? So let's create that particular application first. So this is a student class. So private int roll number, private name, and private float fees to be paid, right? Now I'm creating a setter method. Right now I'm just defining, or we can say writing that particular setter method, set roll number. And not to get confused about what parameter to be passed and set value, I'm putting it as roll number itself because I'm having roll number as a data member, and roll number equal to roll number, where the roll number variable to the left hand side of equal to sign is this roll number, and to the right hand side is the local variable which we are passing as a parameter to this set roll number. Int get roll number and return roll number. Now you can see that it says that the assignment to variable roll number has no effect. Let's just check the effect of what we have. So in this main method, I'm creating object of student, and student dot set roll number as 1, student dot get roll number. So whenever I'm executing this particular code, you can see that the roll number value is 0, right? Now why this value is 0? Let's understand this point first. This roll number is of type int. What is the default value of int? 0. Now here, for the instance data member roll number, this value is 0, and I'm assigning it with roll number itself, means I'm assigning this roll number with 0 value, which is the default value. However, I need to segregate that what is this roll number and what is this roll number. Whatever instance data members we have, every instance has got its own copy of these variables. So this student variable is having its own copy of roll number. So to represent that roll number variable of current instance, which is created for this particular class and for which a copy of roll number is created, because what we have seen, for every instance, because what we have seen is for every instance, copy of instance data members is created. So every object has got its own copy of instance data members. So there is a roll number which belongs to current object, and that current object's roll number must be initialized with the value which is passed as a local variable to this setter method. So to represent that current object, we will be making use of this keyword. So now whenever I'm executing this code, let me just save it, and now I will execute this particular code. Now you can see that the output is 1. So whatever value I have specified for the roll number is now stored in this roll number variable. Otherwise, there was ambiguity which roll number to set with which roll number. Similar to this, we will create setters and getters for remaining data members. And you will be able to see that everywhere this keyword is used in setter method. And we can assign the values to these data members using setter method. So set name. So this is some value which I am specifying. Okay, now here why I am getting error, because I have not saved this class. So it is now not compiled. In Eclipse, unless you have stored that particular class, all the classes are saved, they are not compiled completely. Unless it is compiled, the changes will not be reflected. So whenever I'm executing it, you will be able to see that this information is being displayed on the console. So with this, we come to the end of this session where we discussed about setter and getter methods, and also this keyword which represents the current instance of the class. Thank you.